Hi everyone. This video is for travel advisors who will soon be traveling on a hosted trip. We're going to be reviewing the basics of FamGuru today, including how to navigate through the app, looking at the itinerary and how you use that, and we'll also talk about how to add your notes, your photos, and your short videos as you're going along through the trip. So let's get started. What you're looking at right now is the home screen for FamGuru, and I'll point out a couple of key features here. Anytime you see a question mark icon, you see in the upper right hand corner now, you can click on that, and this will give you some video tutorials that are relevant to the screen that you're on. Or if you have additional questions, you can always drop us a note through the report and send feedback option. Also on the screen, I'm going to point out the account tab at the lower right. If you go to that, you'll see all of your information. Under personal profile, we really encourage you to fill this out. Why is that? Because your host is going to need some basic information about you. They might have already requested that you fill this in within FamGuru. Also, your dietaries. Anywhere you go on a trip, you know they're going to ask you about your preferences and your allergies and so forth. So please fill that in here so they can have that in advance. Also, info about you professionally. This is great to share so that people that you meet on location, whether that's a general manager or a marketing manager or others on the trip, will know just a little bit about you. Let's navigate back to the home screen of FamGuru. Now what we're going to do is we're going to look at one of our current trips. Up here we have the active FAM trips. This is anything that we're on currently or anything that's happening in the future. And of course you can refer back to any past trips. So I'm going to scroll over to this one here and we'll use that as our example. Every time you open a trip in FamGuru, it downloads it from the cloud. Why is this? Because your host may have added information. There might be a new notification there. Or if you happen to use FamGuru on the web and you put some information in here, it will sync directly to the app as well. This is the home screen of your trip. You'll see how many members are on the trip and how many days to go. We'll talk about requirements in a different video. We'll hold that thought for right now. And you have a snapshot of what's next on your itinerary. This is in the future, so we're seeing it on day one. The most important part of the screen is the three lines in the upper left. And if you click on that, you'll see the navigation menu. This takes us anywhere in FamGuru that you need to know. So it's important to use that as your main navigation. You can get to the itinerary from the home screen, but I still recommend you use this overall. So speaking of the itinerary, let's go here and open that up. Now this itinerary is something that the host has prepared for us. Once they make it live, it pushes over to our apps so that we can begin using it. This is great because we can reference what's coming up. And if we need more information about anything on the trip, we can click on a given stay. So for example, the walking tour of Santa Monica, we have the details of when it's happening and the description of the guide and what we're doing that day, for example. So as you're going through the trip, this will, so on January 13th, you're going to be able to see it from January 13th onward. This is already prearranged for you. You do not have control over the actual itinerary, so whatever the host gives you is what you are able to access at this moment. I'm going to talk a little bit about the different types of elements that we have here. The host has put in for us a section on notes on Santa Monica. What does this allow us to do? Well, it doesn't really give us any further information, but as we're going along in the trip, we can add our notes here about Santa Monica. How do we do that? Well, one would simply click Add Your Insights, and that opens up the notes for Santa Monica. We're going to go into the edit mode, so click Edit. And for this particular item on the itinerary, we can rate our overall experience. I happen to think it was a 5. We can also upload photo and video relevant or having to do with our experience in Santa Monica. How does that work? Simply click the plus key and you can upload or create media. And what does that mean? You can use a photo from your gallery that you've already taken. You can take a photo and upload it straight here. It will also be saved in your gallery. You can pull a video from your gallery. Videos up to 90 seconds are permitted at this point. It might be longer in the future. Or you can take a video and upload it here. Again, it will be saved to your gallery. Likewise, if there's a file, should you need it, that can be done as well. Once you do that from the photo gallery, it goes to your gallery just like you would normally do within your phone. You won't do that right now, but as soon as you have that uploaded here, you would click Save, and that will take you back to this screen. Very important to keep clicking Save. Now, other parts of this screen, if you have comments, you can, about the Santa Monica experience, you can write that here. So perfect for any information that you would like to give feedback on with respect to Santa Monica. The other thing that I'll mention here is these are public notes. Down here we have something called private notes. Why do we have two sections? Well, your host wants to know what you think of your experience. So they're hoping that you'll upload some photos that meant something to you, that you'll give some commentary, and that is shared with your host. They can see what you're writing, they can see what everyone else is writing, so they get a flavor of what the advisors are thinking of on the trip. But advisors also need a place for private notes. Maybe you didn't like Santa Monica, or maybe you loved it, but you didn't want to share every single detail with your host. You can add that here. Also, we want you to be taking notes on good for which clients on the trip. This is a multi-select, so you can select a honeymoon, good for couples or foodies, and then that becomes part of your notes. Or if you have a specific set of clients that you thought this was great for, then you would write their names here. The idea is to keep thinking about who are we going to sell this experience, this destination, this hotel to when we get back. Let's save our notes here, save our updates. And there we go. So you can see who's it good for, the specific clients. I didn't write any notes in this case. We'll talk more about the notes section in a moment. So that is just how it would work in general. Now for a hotel, it's a little bit deeper than that because there's more to learn about a hotel. There's more to engage with in a specific hotel. So in this case, the host has put the hotel there for us. So they've included the map, when we're arriving, when we're checking out, the website, contacts at the hotel that we might need if we want to reference that, and you can look on that. And what they've done is created the professional portion of the FamGuru archive. You're adding to that. You're adding your insights, photos, experiences. So you're going to have a complete archive, that which your host has put together for you, and that which you are creating as you travel. They have preloaded some photos for us, so we can go in there and reference this. I will say that any photo on FamGuru can be put on social media. Just use your right-hand icon here, and that can go to your Instagram, to your Facebook, to a text message, whatever you like, just as you normally would on your phone. And these are files that they've preloaded for us. Should we want to reference this in the future, we just click on that and we can see that file. That's great for you to have for the future for your clients, should you need it, and a description of the property. Now let's talk about the insights again. Let's go to our insights for this hotel and see how that works for a hotel. It's a little deeper, as I mentioned. We have our general notes, and this will look familiar based on what we saw in Santa Monica. We can rate, we can add our public photos and notes, and we also have our private section like we had before. So very, very, very similar. Now, where does it differ? We're going to go back to contacts. Well, if you meet someone else at the hotel that was maybe not a preloaded contact, you can add one here. Alternatively, we have other sections under private insights. These are things that are not shared with your host. This is where if you have a lot of detail, you would want to put it here. You can upload your photos by room category. The beginning section here is just general room information, any general photos, any property size, connecting room information, general room notes. That may be all you wish to enter for this particular hotel. But if you want to go deeper, you can add a room type. In this case, I've added two already. So let's take a look at what I saw for the oceanfront with fire pit. And if I'm adding content here, I can add photos or video, just like we were talking about before. This was the category. Room number, the view. I didn't have a connection in this room. And here are my comments. Way better than digging through all my photos and my notes 6 months down the road to try to figure out which room type that was at that hotel. So this allows you to organize by hotel room. Likewise, in this case, if we wanted to see the suite, this is what we may have put in for the suite. And you can continue to add as many room types as you want as you're going along. Also, we have a food and beverage section. You can add different types of outlets, or you can add just general photos and comments about the F&B experience at the hotel. Alternatively, wellness. So this could be, for example, gym, spa, tennis court, golf, what have you. The idea being for every kind of element that you add under wellness, you can add your comments and you can add your images. And One of my favorites is actually common areas because I would always forget to go see some of the common areas. So if I want to add a new type of common area, I would go here and look under type. Oh, what if I'm a family specialist? I haven't seen the kids club. I need to remember to ask my host to see the kids club. So this can jog your memory, help you better engage with the property, make sure you get that best beach photo, which your client will ask for in the future, and then always have it here organized for your reference. 2 weeks after the trip, 6 months after the trip, 1 year after the trip. Okay, and then just a little bit else. So that's really the crux of things with respect to the hotels. Uh, and I think that's all we really want to do for today. So hopefully you have an idea for how to get around the app, how to see the itinerary, and how to add your notes and photos. I hope this was helpful. Thank you.